How Hugh Hefner lost most of his fortune. Hugh Hefner, once worth $200 million, lost most of it. When he died, his wealth was around $35 million. Where had the money gone? Wasn't Hefner a savvy investor and media mogul? He was, but not always. Hugh Hefner only ever held one job. In 1951, he was hired by Esquire as a promotional copywriter. Hefner was paid $40 per week. A year later, he asked for a $5 raise and was denied, so Hefner left. And 11 months later, he launched Playboy. The initial investment came from his mom. Hugh asked his dad for money to start a magazine, but Hefner Sr. thought it was a foolish idea. Dejected, Hugh got up to leave. His mom took him aside and surreptitiously slipped him a $1,000 check. That was all Hugh needed. He used the money to buy nude pictures of Marilyn Monroe. They were featured in the first issue of Playboy. In December 1953, the issue was undated. Only about 54,000 copies were printed. Today, a single copy of that issue is valued at $20,000. Back then, Hefner wasn't sure if the magazine would ever take off, so he didn't print the date. In case there was no second issue, Playboy became an overnight sensation. Hefner used the windfall to establish a string of clubs. The first Playboy club opened in Chicago in 1960. By 1971, there were 23 of them. They were paired with resorts, casinos, hotels, and even a limousine company. At its peak, the Playboy Corporation employed 5,000 people. A full 1,000 of them were the notorious Playboy bunnies. No less famous was Hefner's opulent Playboy mansion. Hefner conducted his business from the legendary Roman bath. The room was off limits to visitors. It had Baroque gold spigots and faucets. There was a mink-covered water bed with a mirrored ceiling. Yet the mansion was owned by Playboy Enterprise, not Hefner. The mogul rented it for $1 million a year. He also had to pay fees for food, parties, room, and boarding for his girlfriends. In 2016, the Playboy mansion was sold to Darren Metropolis for $100 million. Hefner was allowed to stay in the mansion as long as he desired. At the height of his spending spree, Hefner bought a private jet for partying. It cost him a whopping $5.5 million. The modified 119-foot-long DC-9 was christened the Big Bunny. It had a living room, disco, and sleeping quarters on board. There were showers and even a powder room for up to 16 people. But in 1986, all the Playboy clubs closed down. Playboy sales had been declining for years. The video boom of the 1980s was making skin mags obsolete. In the 1990s, things became worse when Playboy didn't stay with the times. The world-famous magazine had no website. Searching for Playboy online brought up competitor ads. Hefner still tried his best to revive the business. He launched a reality show, The Girls Next Door. It ran for 6 seasons, but never made much of a splash. Hugh Hefner died in 2017, aged 91. He didn't leave anything to his wife, Crystal Harris. Playboy was losing $7 million a year. It had been forced to become a quarterly. It still survives in some form, but Hefner's death really seemed to signal the end of an era.